Hattie McDaniel.
I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you just how I feel.
You just gotta go on being brave. Think about your Paul like he used to be.
On the historic date of February 29, 1940, Hattie McDaniel secured her place in history as the first black individual to receive an Academy Award, an achievement attributed to her remarkable portrayal of Mammy in the cinematic masterpiece Gone with the Wind. As she stood before her white peers at the Coconut Grove, her countenance reflected not only pride and joy, but also the significance of breaking racial barriers in the motion picture industry. Tearfully expressing her sentiments, she conveyed, "I sincerely hope that I shall always be a credit to my race and the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you how I feel." Despite this remarkable milestone, McDaniel's journey in the entertainment industry was marked by persistent challenges that unfolded behind the scenes. Whispers of her association with co-star Clark Gable added an intriguing dimension to her experiences. While the details of their relationship remain somewhat elusive, they hint at complexities beyond the on-screen collaboration. Post her groundbreaking Oscar win for Gone with the Wind, McDaniel encountered ongoing struggles in navigating the intricacies of a film industry grappling with racial prejudices. Tragically, Hattie McDaniel's illustrious career was cut short by breast cancer, claiming her life on October 26, 1952. Remarkably, despite her Oscar nomination and eventual win, McDaniel faced a disheartening display of segregation during the Oscar ceremony held at the whites-only Ambassador Hotel. In a stark manifestation of racial prejudice, she was relegated to a distant table against the wall, denied the opportunity to sit with her fellow cast members. This indignity was not an isolated incident, as evidenced by her exclusion from the film's Atlanta premiere the preceding year due to the stringent segregationist laws of the time. The trajectory of McDaniel's success with Gone with the Wind was marred by the pervasive racism of the era, forcing her to navigate a delicate balance between satisfying her own aspirations, appeasing prejudiced superiors, and representing the underrepresented black community. In essence, her journey was a tightrope walk, where she grappled with the dual challenge of being all things to all people. Reflecting on her own ambition, McDaniel once remarked, "I always wanted to be before the public. I'm always acting. I guess it's the ham in me." This sentiment captures not only her enduring passion for the craft, but also the poignant reality of her existence, where the pursuit of professional success was intricately interwoven with the complexities of combating systemic racism. Contrary to lingering rumors, the relationship between Hattie McDaniel and her co-star Clark Gable, particularly during the production of Gone with the Wind, was characterized by a profound friendship and mutual respect. Gable, upon learning that McDaniel would be barred from attending the film's premiere due to racial segregation, demonstrated solidarity by contemplating a boycott of the event. Their camaraderie extended beyond the screen, with both actors sharing a deep bond and engaging in playful pranks while on set. The genuine friendship they forged became evident when Gable expressed his dismay over McDaniel's exclusion from the celebration of the collaborative cinematic endeavor they had undertaken. Interestingly, the roots of Gable and McDaniel's enduring friendship trace back to the 1935 film China Seas, where they first collaborated. Despite McDaniel's role as a maid in the film, one that went uncredited, she played a significant role as a prominent black performer in Hollywood, contributing to the film's promotion. The Hollywood Reporter notes that their enduring friendship took root during the making of China Seas, suggesting that Gable may have been observant of the disparities in treatment his co-star faced. The bond formed during the production of China Seas likely influenced Gable's empathy towards McDaniel's struggles, reinforcing the notion that their friendship transcended professional collaborations. McDaniel, in a testament to their connection, played a pivotal role in persuading Gable to abandon the contemplated boycott of the premiere, underscoring the strength of their relationship. Long before her historic triumph at the Academy Awards for Gone with the Wind, Hattie McDaniel etched her name in cinematic history. Despite the groundbreaking nature of her victory, the film itself has endured persistent controversy throughout the nearly century-long span since its release. McDaniel's portrayal as Mammy in the movie, which catapulted her to Oscar-winning stardom, remains a focal point of criticism, with the film drawing censure for its ostensibly favorable depiction of pre-Civil War Southern life and the perceived absence of hardships faced by African-American servant characters, including Mammy. In the face of the ongoing controversy surrounding the film, McDaniel was acutely aware of the critiques leveled against it. Nevertheless, she consistently responded to the criticism with a poignant perspective, as documented by The Hollywood Reporter. Her oft-repeated statement, "I'd rather play a maid than be a maid," encapsulated her nuanced approach to navigating the challenges of the entertainment industry, where limited opportunities for Black actors often confine them to stereotypical roles.
Fiddle-dee-dee. War, war, war. This war talk's spoiling all the fun at every party this spring. I get so bored I could scream. I haven't thought about that yet. I'll think about that tomorrow.
Let us now delve into the intricacies of the characters that constitute this enduring cinematic masterpiece. In the glamorous landscape of late 1930s Hollywood, few roles held as much promise, allure, and challenge as that of Scarlett O'Hara, a character derived from Margaret Mitchell's compelling novel. Scarlett, with her boldness, passion, flaws, and captivating nature, represented a role that actresses coveted, understanding the significance it held. The journey to cast Scarlett was not a routine casting call. It unfolded as a cinematic event. Producer David O. Selznick recognized the gravity of selecting an actress capable of bringing Mitchell's literary creation to life, capturing the imaginations of millions who had already encountered Scarlett through the novel's pages, and carrying a film destined to become one of Hollywood's grandest productions. The quest for Scarlett was not an ordinary undertaking. It was an exploration charged with urgency, fervor, and an unparalleled excitement surrounding Gone with the Wind. The film transcended the status of a typical movie. It became an event, a phenomenon, with Scarlett embodying its heart. The process of finding the actress to portray her was not a mere casting endeavor. It was a quest to discover the soul of the character. Embarking on this monumental project without a confirmed lead may seem audacious, yet it underscores the urgency and enthusiasm enveloping Gone with the Wind. The film was not just another cinematic creation. It represented a cultural moment. Scarlett O'Hara, as the central figure, carried the weight of the narrative's emotional core. Amidst swirling speculation, anticipation, and a touch of chaos, Vivien Leigh, a British actress born during colonial rule in India, emerged as the chosen one to embody the quintessential Southern belle. This decision, bold and fateful, would not only earn her an Oscar, but also secure her a lasting place in cinematic history. One may contemplate whether it was destiny or meticulous planning that led Vivien Leigh to the role of Scarlett O'Hara. Perhaps it was a harmonious blend of both. Regardless, the narrative surrounding the discovery of Scarlett epitomizes the golden age of Hollywood, a period characterized by grandeur, passion, and an unwavering pursuit of perfection.
Red, you go. Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Clark Gable, renowned for his suave charm and quintessential handsome features, stood as the embodiment of Hollywood's leading man during this era. He had crafted a reputation centered on ruggedness and unyielding composura, often portraying characters that mirrored society's idealistic perception of masculinity. The 1930s witnessed the construction of male archetypes, emphasizing stoicism over vulnerability, strength over sensitivity, and pride over raw emotion. Within this cinematic milieu, Gable confronted a poignant moment in Gone with the Wind. The pivotal scene in question depicted Rhett Butler, the character flawlessly embodied by Gable, grappling with the profound loss of his daughter. This sequence demanded tears, a shedding of Rhett's seemingly impervious faculty. For Gable, it posed a dilemma. The decision to cry or not on screen transcended a single scene. It delved into the challenge of confronting the larger-than-life image he had meticulously cultivated over the years. According to legend, extensive conversations between Gable and director Victor Fleming ensued, as the latter endeavored to persuade Gable to embrace the emotional demands of the scene. Fleming underscored that true strength lay not in concealing emotions, but in revealing them, particularly in moments of profound sorrow. He argued that authentic masculinity was not about upholding a stoic facade, but about demonstrating vulnerability, even for those perceived as the strongest. The eventual filming of the scene, although featuring Gable's tears in a more implied manner, represented a compromise, a midpoint between societal expectations and cinematic authenticity. Nevertheless, it stands as one of the most poignant moments in the film. Gable's internal struggle over this specific scene reflects the broader challenges faced by Hollywood in the 1930s, where traditional concepts of masculinity collided with the intricacies of human emotion. Gone with the Wind transcended being a narrative set against the backdrop of the Civil War. It stood as a testament to the technological advancements and artistic prowess of 1930s cinema. The movie's luminous and richly colored visuals, a stark departure from the grayscale features of its time, transported audiences into a world of vivid Technicolor dreams. However, amidst the grandeur of the film, it was a seemingly minor detail that underscored the true potential of Technicolor, the color of Vivien Leigh's eyes. Tasked with portraying Scarlett O'Hara, a character renowned for her captivating blue gaze, Leigh possessed naturally green eyes. While such a discrepancy might have gone unnoticed in a black-and-white film, in the realm of Technicolor it presented a conspicuous inconsistency. Faced with this challenge, the filmmakers confronted a dilemma. In an era predating digital effects, altering an actor's eye color in post-production was a formidable undertaking. However, the meticulous and detail-oriented team behind Gone with the Wind recognized the importance of adhering to Margaret Mitchell's description of Scarlett. Thus, they embarked on the arduous process of modifying Leigh's eye color frame by frame. Employing colored filters, meticulous attention to lighting, strategic close-ups, and makeup techniques, the filmmakers successfully transformed Leigh's eyes from a verdant green to a mesmerizing blue. The result was a seamless transformation, a testament to the film's commitment to authenticity and its determination to push the boundaries of cinematic innovation. While the narrative of Gone with the Wind served as its driving force, the film's aesthetic brilliance played an equally pivotal role. It demonstrated what could be achieved when technology converged with artistry, showcasing the willingness of filmmakers to dream big and delve into minutiae to bring their vision to life. The film went beyond merely presenting a story. It immersed viewers in a world, inviting them to believe in the Technicolor dreams and vivid illusions unfolding before their eyes.
Oh, if I just wasn't a lady, what wouldn't I tell that varmint?
While the characters they portrayed on screen were iconic and larger than life, the actors behind these roles were undeniably human, each possessing their own set of peculiarities, quirks, and personal histories that subtly permeated their performances. Vivien Leigh, renowned for her porcelain beauty and fiery on-screen persona, brought an intriguing contrast to the role of Scarlett O'Hara. Off-screen, she exemplified British refinement, staunchly committed to etiquette and propriety. The challenge of embodying the brash and often unladylike Scarlett posed a unique hurdle for Leigh, who openly expressed her distaste for certain aspects of the character. However, it was precisely this internal conflict that added a compelling dynamic to her portrayal. Moments of Scarlett's tantrums or defiance revealed glimpses of Leigh's personal struggle, a nuanced interplay between her own sensibilities and those of the character she inhabited. This internal conflict extended beyond on-screen behavior, as Lee, with her distinct English mannerisms, found herself under scrutiny off-camera. Her foreign roots, evident in details such as the way she took her tea and her crisp pronunciation, stood in stark contrast to the southern gentility of Scarlett O'Hara. This cultural juxtaposition became a source of amusement for her castmates. Clark Gable, the embodiment of rugged American masculinity, also had his idiosyncrasies. Despite his confident on-screen presence, Gable harbored a surprising self-consciousness about his ears, which he perceived as too large. This minor insecurity influenced his choices in camera angles and positions, leading to behind-the-scenes adjustments. Despite portraying Rhett Butler with apparent self-assurance on screen, Gable occasionally sought reassurance off-camera. The production of Gone with the Wind was not merely a cinematic adaptation of Margaret Mitchell's magnum opus. It evolved into a convergence of diverse cultures, personalities, and quirks. Each actor, with their unique backgrounds and idiosyncrasies, contributed nuanced layers to their characters, rendering them memorable and timeless. Ultimately, it was these quirks and personal nuances that breathed life into the movie and made it a cinematic masterpiece. Now, McDaniel's struggles, however, did not commence with her involvement in Gone with the Wind. A deeper exploration into her life reveals a challenging upbringing that served as the backdrop to her journey. Married 4 times, McDaniel was alive to her fingertips, friend Norman Vincent Peale told Watts. Lena Horne remembered her as an extremely gracious, intelligent, and gentle lady. McDaniel looked for challenges, but her artistic ambition was often blocked by racism and sexism. When you cease to want, you cease to live. Just like when I won the Academy Award, she explained, per Watts. You sit down and think now you have everything, all you want. But of course you don't. The horrors of slavery and the Civil War haunted Hattie McDaniel's family. Both of her parents, Susan and Henry, had been born into slavery in the mid-Atlantic South. During the Civil War, Henry bravely joined the Tennessee 12th U.S. Colored Infantry Regiment, fighting for the Union at the brutal Battle of Nashville in 1864. According to Watts, Henry's jaw was shattered during the battle, leaving an open wound inside his mouth, with bone fragments and infection now oozing out of it. Suffering from other injuries as well, Henry received little to no medical treatment, and after the war valiantly worked hard labor jobs despite his constant pain. By the time the couple's last child, Hattie, was born in 1893, the McDaniel family had migrated west to Wichita, Kansas. According to McDaniel, the family was so poor that she was born malnourished, weighing only 3.5 pounds. They moved to Denver, where the increasingly infirm Henry finally succeeded in receiving a small pension from the U.S. government for his military service after decades of trying. Although the McDaniel family often went hungry, they were tight-knit and creative. Hattie grew up singing in the church choir and attending integrated schools. I knew I could sing and dance, she recalled. I was doing it so much that my mother would give me a nickel sometimes to stop. She would also help her father fill out questionnaires from members of the government, who continually made it almost impossible for him to receive the pension and disability payments he deserved. In 1908, a government lackey maddeningly wrote that he could not increase Henry's pension since there was no official proof he had reached the age of 70. "It is impossible for me to furnish a record of my birth," Henry wrote back succinctly. "I was a slave." Despite constant hardships and discrimination, the McDaniel children became entertainment trailblazers in the Denver area, mounting plays and reviews for members of the black community. In 1914, Hattie and her sister Etta, billed as the McDaniel Sisters Company, mounted an all-female minstrel show. According to Watts, the statuesque, agile Hattie developed a zany Mammy character, a cultural critique of the racist archetype she would one day become famous for. According to Watts, black audience members considered these minstrel routines to be hysterical spoofs of white minstrelsy and its outlandish racial stereotypes. For the next 2 decades, McDaniel lived the hard-scrabble life of a dedicated journeyman artist. "In my life," she later said, "God comes first, work second, and men third." During the 1920s, McDaniel refashioned herself into a sly, subversive blues singer touted as the Old Pep Machine and the Sepia Sophie Tucker. In between treading the boards for the black vaudeville circuit Toba, derided by performers as tough on black, and writing and recording blues song including Boo-Hoo Blues and Dentist Chair Blues, she would take jobs as a domestic worker or cook to make ends meet. In 1929, McDaniel was traveling the country as part of the chorus in the Florenz Ziegfeld touring company of Showboat, when the stock market crash forced the famed producer to let most of his performers go. Stranded in unfamiliar Milwaukee, McDaniel got a job as a restroom attendant at the nightclub Sam Pick's Suburban Inn. One night, all the singers had left before closing, and the management needed an act. McDaniel stepped in and brought down the house with her rendition of St. Louis Blues. Hired on the spot, she headlined at the inn for 2 years before it was forced to close during the Depression. Out of work once again, McDaniel packed her bags. With $20 in her purse, she hopped on a bus headed to Hollywood. In 1931, McDaniel moved to Los Angeles to join her brother Sam and sisters Etta and Orlena. When she could not get film work, she took jobs as a maid or cook. Sam was working on a KNX radio program, The Optimistic Do-Nut Hour, and was able to get his sister a spot. She performed on radio as Hi-Hat Hattie, a bossy maid who often forgets her place. Her show became popular, but her salary was so low that she had to keep working as a maid. She made her first film appearance in The Golden West, 1932, in which she played a maid. Her second appearance came in the highly successful Mae West film I'm No Angel, 1933, in which she played one of the maids with whom West camped it up backstage. She received several other uncredited film roles in the early 1930s, often singing in choruses. In 1934, McDaniel joined the Screen Actors Guild. She began to attract attention and landed larger film roles, which began to win her screen credits. Fox Film Corporation put her under contract to appear in The Little Colonel, 1935, with Shirley Temple, Bill Bojangles Robinson, and Lionel Barrymore. In 1934, Hattie McDaniel took a significant step in her film career with the release of Judge Priest, directed by John Ford and featuring Will Rogers. This marked her first major role in a film, where she not only had a leading part but also showcased her singing talent, even engaging in a duet with Rogers. The collaborative experience fostered a friendship between McDaniel and Rogers, laying the foundation for her burgeoning career in Hollywood. The subsequent year, 1935, saw McDaniel's continued ascent in the film industry. Her roles included a portrayal of a slovenly maid in Alice Adams, a comedic character as Jean Harlow's maid and travel companion in China Seas, MGM, her inaugural film with Clark Gable, and the role of the maid Isabella in Murder by Television, alongside Bela Lugosi. McDaniel's versatility was further showcased in the 1938 film Vivacious Lady, starring James Stewart and Ginger Rogers. A standout moment in McDaniel's filmography occurred in the 1936 production of Showboat, Universal Pictures. In this film, she played the character Queenie, contributing to the ensemble cast that included Alan Jones and Irene Dunn. Her musical talents were prominently displayed when she sang a verse of Can't Help Lovin' Dat Man with Dunn, Helen Morgan, Paul Robeson, and a black chorus. McDaniel and Robeson also delivered a noteworthy performance of I Still Suits Me, a composition by Kern and Hammerstein written for the film. Following her success in Showboat, McDaniel secured major roles in notable productions such as MGM's Saratoga, 1937, starring Jean Harlow and Clark Gable, The Shop-Worn Angel, 1938, featuring Margaret Sullivan, and The Mad Miss Manton, 1938, headlined by Barbara Stanwyck and Henry Fonda. Additionally, she had a minor role in the Carole Lombard Frederick March film Nothing Sacred, 1937, portraying the wife of a shoeshine man, Troy Brown, masquerading as a sultan. Hattie McDaniel, throughout her Hollywood career, forged friendships with many of the industry's leading figures, including Joan Crawford, Tallulah Bankhead, Bette Davis, Shirley Temple, Henry Fonda, Ronald Reagan, Olivia de Havilland, and Clark Gable. Notably, McDaniel starred alongside de Havilland and Gable in the monumental film Gone with the Wind, 1939. However, her career trajectory was not without controversy. McDaniel faced criticism from members of the Black community for accepting certain roles and actively pursuing opportunities within the Hollywood system instead of advocating for increased Black awareness. For instance, her portrayal of Malena in RKO Pictures' Alice Adams drew ire from white Southern audiences as she stole scenes from the film's white star, Katharine Hepburn. Despite the challenges and criticisms, McDaniel became best known for her portrayals of sassy and opinionated maids. But after years of struggle and uncertainty, McDaniel was pragmatic. "I can be a maid for $7 a week," she said, per Watts. "Or I can play a maid for $700 a week." That year, Hollywood was all a-twitter about the casting of David O. Selznick's version of Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. According to Watts, a coy suggestion came from Sam McDaniels, Hattie's brother, a successful Hollywood actor, good friend Bing Crosby. "Why not?" Crosby asked Selznick. "Use that woman who played Queenie in the recent film version of Showboat." The famous crooner claimed he did not know her name but thought she would be a good choice. From the time her casting was announced, McDaniel faced harsh criticism from influential members of the Black community. "We feel proud over the fact that Hattie McDaniel won the coveted role of Mammy," wrote the influential Earl Morris in the Pittsburgh Courier. "It means about $2,000 for Miss McDaniel in individual advancement and nothing in racial advancement." According to Watts, much of the cast banded together during the grueling shoot. Black cast members were particularly supportive of one another, gathering around to watch each other's takes and applauding after the cameras stopped. McDaniel was used by the studio to assuage the Black civil rights leaders who worried that the film would further promote racist stereotypes. "Don't worry," she reportedly said, according to one studio press release. "There is nothing in this picture that will injure colored people. If there was, I wouldn't be in it." The competition for the role of Mammy in Gone with the Wind rivaled that of Scarlett O'Hara, with notable figures even making requests for specific individuals. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt personally wrote to film producer David O. Selznick, advocating for her own maid, Elizabeth McDuffie, to be considered for the part. Despite the intense competition, Hattie McDaniel, initially doubtful of her chances due to her comedic actress reputation, ultimately secured the role. Clark Gable's purported recommendation may have played a role, but McDaniel's authentic portrayal in a maid's uniform during the audition undoubtedly contributed to her successful bid for the part. The premiere of Gone with the Wind at Lo-O's Grand Theater on Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia, on December 15, 1939, became a significant event. David O. Selznick requested McDaniel's attendance, but MGM cautioned against it, citing Georgia's segregation laws. Clark Gable, expressing solidarity, even threatened to boycott the premiere if McDaniel was not permitted to attend. McDaniel, however, persuaded him to attend, and while Jim Crow laws prevented her from being present at the Atlanta premiere, she did attend the film's Hollywood debut on December 28, 1939. The motorcade transporting the film's stars and executives from the airport to the Georgian Terrace Hotel in Atlanta was met with the enthusiastic presence of a large crowd, showcasing the immense popularity of the film. Despite the complexities of racial segregation, McDaniel's Hollywood debut attendance became a notable moment in the context of the film's premiere. David O. Selznick, in adherence to his insistence, ensured that McDaniel's picture was prominently featured in the program, acknowledging her significant contribution to the film. For her performance as the house servant who repeatedly scolds her owner's daughter, Scarlett O'Hara, and scoffs at Rhett Butler, McDaniel won the 1939 Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, the first black actor to have been nominated and win an Oscar. "I loved Mammy," McDaniel said when speaking to the white press about the character. "I think I understood her because my own grandmother worked on a plantation not unlike Tara." While many black people were happy over McDaniel's personal victory, they also viewed it as bittersweet. They believed Gone with the Wind celebrated the slave system and condemned the forces that destroyed it. For them, the unique accolade McDaniel had won suggested that only those who did not protest Hollywood's systemic use of racial stereotypes could find work and success there. She made her last film appearances in Mickey 1948 and Family Honeymoon 1949, where that same year she appeared on the live CBS television program The Ed Wynn Show. She remained active on radio and television in her final years, becoming the first black actor to star in her own radio show with the comedy series Beulah. She also starred in the television version of the show, replacing Ethel Waters after the first season. McDaniel married Howard Hickman on January 19, 1911, in Denver, Colorado. He died in 1915. Her second husband, George Langford, died of a gunshot wound in January 1925. She married James Lloyd Crawford, a real estate salesman, on March 21, 1941, in Tucson, Arizona. According to Donald Bogle, in his book Bright Boulevard's Bold Dreams, McDaniel happily confided to gossip columnist Hedda Hopper in 1945 that she was pregnant. McDaniel began buying baby clothes and set up a nursery in her house. Her plans were shattered when she suffered a false pregnancy and fell into a depression. She never had any children. She divorced Crawford in 1945 after 4.5 years of marriage. Crawford had been jealous of her career success, she said. She married Larry Williams, an interior decorator, on June 11, 1949, in Yuma, Arizona, but divorced him in 1950 after testifying that their 5 months together had been marred by arguing and fussing. McDaniel broke down in tears when she testified that her husband tried to provoke a dissension in the cast of her radio show and otherwise interfered with her work. "I haven't gotten over it yet," she said. "I got so I couldn't sleep. I couldn't concentrate on my lines." In August 1950, McDaniel entered the hospital with a heart ailment. She was released in October to recuperate at home and was reported on January 3, 1951, as showing slight improvement in her recovery from a mild stroke. She died of breast cancer on October 26, 1952, in the hospital of the Motion Picture House in Woodland Hills, California. She was survived by her brother Sam McDaniel. Thousands of mourners turned out to celebrate her life and achievements. McDaniel had wished to be buried in Hollywood Cemetery, which, however, had a whites-only policy at the time. She was buried instead in Rosedale Cemetery, her second choice. In 1999, Hollywood Cemetery offered to have McDaniel reinterred there, but after her family declined the offer, the cemetery erected a cenotaph, now one of Hollywood's most popular tourist attractions, overlooking its lake. McDaniel has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in Hollywood, one at 6933 Hollywood Boulevard for her contributions to radio, and one at 1719 Vine Street for motion pictures. In 1975, she was inducted posthumously into the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame. In 1994, the actress and singer Carla Burns, notably the first black performer to win a Laurence Olivier Award, launched her one-woman show, Hi Hat Hattie, written by Larry Parr, about McDaniel's life. Burns went on to perform the role in several other cities through 2018, including Off-Broadway and the Long Beach Playhouse Studio Theater in California. In 2002, McDaniel's legacy was celebrated in American movie classics AMC film Beyond Terra, The Extraordinary Life of Hattie McDaniel, 2001, produced and directed by Madison D. Lacey and hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. This one-hour special depicted McDaniel's struggles and triumphs in the presence of rampant racism and brutal adversity. The film won the 2001-2002 Daytime Emmy Award, presented on May 17, 2002, for Outstanding Special Class Special. McDaniel was the 29th inductee in the Black Heritage Series by the United States Postal Service. Her 39-cent stamp was released on January 29, 2006, featuring a 1941 photograph of McDaniel in the dress she wore to accept the Academy Award in 1940. The ceremony took place at the Margaret Herrick Library of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, where the Hattie McDaniel collection includes photographs of McDaniel and other family members, as well as scripts and other documents. In 2004, Rita Dove, the first Black U.S. Poet Laureate, published her poem, Hattie McDaniel Arrives at the Coconut Grove, in The New Yorker, and has since presented it frequently during her poetry readings, as well as on YouTube. In 2010, Monique, the winner of the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in Precious, wearing a blue dress and gardenias in her hair, as McDaniel had at the ceremony in 1940, in her acceptance speech thanked McDaniel for enduring all that she had to so that I would not have to. In the 2020 Netflix miniseries Hollywood, a fictionalized Hattie McDaniel is played by Queen Latifah. Reshonda Tate Billingsley's historical novel about McDaniel, The Queen of Sugar Hill, a novel of Hattie McDaniel, will be published in 2024. Hattie McDaniel undeniably made a lasting impact on the entertainment industry, overcoming significant challenges with resilience and maintaining a dignified stance. Despite the adversities she encountered within the industry, she navigated them with fortitude and elevated herself to a position of influence. Although her untimely departure is a source of regret, her legacy remains indelible, and her contributions to the entertainment world will not be forgotten. That's it from us today. Until next time, bye.